Derek here with another awesome Wind Whirler video. Today, we're back at it with another unboxing video. We got a really special one here. We got some Beast Wars figures, or I guess Transformers War for Cybertron, Trilogy, Kingdom, Legacy, all kinds of lines, but I mean, we know these are Beast Wars figures. This particular cartoon has a special place in my heart as my first Transformers experience, I guess, from a young age there. I had kind of came into it late, and I ended up having to like go on eBay and stuff to get the toys when I was young. It was sort of my first thing early on, like trying to be a collector, I guess. Of course, I had to, go through my mom through that, and she would help me order stuff. And I'd get like a couple. I remember having like a Silverbolt figure that was like really cool. I know they're coming out with a new one recently, and it's gonna top the other one. But I mean, the other one was still already so good to begin with. So, but yeah, we got Cheetor here, who's my favorite of the characters from Beast Wars, and we got Inferno, who's another fun character. He's not my top favorite character, but I actually found him to be kind of annoying a lot of it. But I also think he's good for a lot of laughs, especially with Megatron and referring to him as the Queen. So that's pretty funny. But I'm excited to pop both these guys open. We're going to be doing a little bit of a Beast Wars marathon here. I've got a bunch of these figures that I've been keeping on ice for the last couple months, since they released. I know like the Netflix show was so long ago, so like for me to still have this is crazy. But yeah, I think we're gonna go get right into this. I'm gonna start with Cheetor because, I mean, like I said, he's my favorite character, and I've been holding off on unboxing him for probably close to, at least over a year here. So maybe going on 2 years. I don't even know, but I can't believe I've kept him on box for so long. But we're gonna open him up. I got my Swiss Army knife here. It's already, I got my good blade out here, and we're gonna just pop open the top. Sling. Yeah, I remember going on a hunt for this particular one. It took me so long to find. I know there's two versions of this that had come out. There's the sort of just more of a matte blue finish to it, which it was the first release. Not a very good look, I'll be honest. This I had to have because it's got more of that shiny chrome blue, which more reminiscent of how he actually looked in the original cartoon. So I had to find this Netflix version, which was a pain in the ass. Every bit of Netflix figures, at least in Canada, have always been very tricky to find. But I remember driving around to like 6-7 different Walmarts in the Lower Mainland area of around Vancouver, and it just, what a pain. Oh, there goes the set. There it goes. Okay, and we're back. Okay, so I cut all the little pieces off. We got his weapon tail out. We're gonna pop him out of here. He's got these nicely bendable arms here. Pull those out. All right, we'll set this to the back, I suppose, over there for now. And we shall take ourselves a good look at Cheetor. Wow. The legs. So that's pretty cool how that fits. Let's stretch him out nice and tall here. Okay, got the joints popping. Here we go. Okay, so that rotates. That bends. Okay, there we go. Starting to feel this out. Got some, nice, I guess, what would you call that? Like a wing joint, elbow wing joint, butterfly joint. So these kind of act as butterfly joints, which is nice, which I also think they probably are active in the transformation as well. So I always like in Transformers and appreciate when a part of the transformation actually just enhances the articulation of, their alt mode or whatever. So this is really cool. Got this thing that lifts up, his little loincloth. These paws tuck into there pretty nicely. Feet are a little small, I'll be honest. I think it would have been nicer if the feet were a little bigger. I think they would have been more cartoon accurate as well, but it's not too bad. But yeah, they definitely feel like they could have been a little bigger. We'll see how it affects the transformation. Maybe there's a reason for it to be so small. for it to fit wherever it needs to tuck away. But I mean, it's not super bad. It's just I know that he's going to be a little trickier to stand without a base. Oh, but he looks so cool, like very iconic posing already. And how was the head articulation? Okay, so the head is perfectly tipping up, which is fantastic. He can move to the side and tip up. Okay, so he has pretty much full head movement here. We actually, the only bit of head movement I can't seem to pull off here is him looking down. But I suppose looking down with a big cheetah head coming out of your chest, you're not going to see much anyway. So he's going to probably end up having to bend like this. Yeah, I mean, let's get a good look at this head sculpt here. I mean, we got two head sculpts. We got this one and this one. But I just love how they've managed to incorporate the cheetah head actually into the chest. I know they did a few tricks with some of the other Transformers, like Dinobot, for example, where they kind of hid extra eyes and stuff to make it more accurate, which I think that's really genius when they pull that off nicely. There's these. I wonder if it's supposed to tuck like that, or if you can leave it up like that. I kind of like it up like this because it's more flush with that. Yeah. Oh man, the color is so nice. Like I love chrome, man. I love chromed out figures. I think they look so sick. Yeah, this was just definitely out of the park kind of. I don't even know what they were thinking with that first coloration. Like I saw those kind of like littering the stores, and I was trying to find this one, and I was super lucky. But he's got the nice waist articulation too. The knees, it doesn't bend quite as much as I would have liked it to. I don't know why they didn't maybe just cut that out a little bit deeper. So that's too bad that you can't really get him like maybe crouching. This is as much as he's gonna crouch, I think. But it is what it is. It's okay. I'm not going to stress too much about something like that. I mean, for the most part, I mean, I just like that he's a little bit more skinny, a little more agile looking. The original toy from way back in the 90s there, I had a remake, or I guess a repaint or re-release of it when they did the 10-year anniversary. That's when I was so stoked to get a whole bunch of them. And that's why I was like on the lookout for other ones. But that's sort of when I kind of got into Beast Wars, still sort of after the fact on reruns on the YTV. I think there was a time where it was literally playing like every day after school. You would get a double feature of Beast Wars and Reboot, and it was just the fucking greatest. Pardon my language, but it was amazing. So those shows were great. I had to, out of everything, I had to get a box set of both of those, like the full seasons. And you know what? There's something to be said about the physical copies, gang. Like, I would not toss out your DVDs, or at least keep your favorite ones, your favorite movies of all time, and shows if you got those. Because the thing about streaming services is you're just borrowing all that stuff, right? And so if they ever decide they want to take it off of their service, or just out of all of services, because there's definitely some movies I've been looking out for, you can't see them anywhere, and it's just like, what the frick? So it's best to, for your stuff that it's really beloved to you, stuff you want to show, your family one day, like, or your kids or whatever, like, you want to make sure you get that stuff hard copy, because and take care of it. Stuff is really valuable, especially with these internet services being so fleeting. The back profile looks great too. I like how they managed to do this crisscrossy thing, very reminiscent of the actual character in the show. He had the same kind of thing with this crisscrossing like that, the extra legs. Just looks like cool, I don't know, storage weapons or something. And I like all the print here on the very back. It looks quite nice. You got a little blue accent on the ankles here. I guess they could have maybe put in a little blue on there, maybe just to give it that, synchronicity. But it's not too bad. And I prefer it over here. They even got these kind of shoulder bit parts that were in the show as well. I know the old toy, these were just kind of flat out like this, kind of splayed out like that, and it always bugged me that they didn't add some kind of crisscrossing, and it just fits everything in nicely. It makes it not look so bulky. So yeah, very great. Let's check out the accessory here. I've been going on here.
Oh yeah.
All right, not bad. He looks pretty cool. He actually stands fairly solid. I guess I was a little concerned about the small feet, but I mean, the way they designed it, he's pretty planted there. I actually, you know, he's not too bad. Not too bad at all. The weapon here, really cool little, I guess this is, turns into an axe. It's sort of a new thing. I don't know if that was part of the original toy. I think his original toy had a gun that the tail would flip back from, which was a cool little toy, but it's nice to get something a little different for this. And there's two ways you can hold it. You can hold it like this, which is a little bit concerning because I can imagine that this black spotting here might get a little bit scuffed by sticking that in and out, in and out, in and out. So there is this option here. I guess you could call this maybe a whip. You know, I think that's more what it was going for, is some kind of whip. But it does suck that he doesn't come with the guts gun, you know, like, or I know we're actually lucky with the Tigertron release, which I'm gonna do an unboxing for him too. He's coming up, but he actually comes with the guts gun. We didn't get one with Cheetor here. It's a little unfortunate. He pretty much just has this melee weapon, which is a cool weapon use out of his tail. But I get it was probably that they just couldn't fit something like that in. Even if, in my opinion, even if it didn't find a place to attach to the actual figure, I would have liked to still have gotten it as just an accessory that you can put aside when you transform him into beast mode. But it is what it is, and I'm not going to complain too much because they actually fucking nailed him. Like, this is an incredible looking figure, and he doesn't look bulky. Like, one of the things about the original figures, he looks so bulky, but this one is nice and like agile looking, very much like a cheetah still. That's the thing, is like what was cool about Beast Wars and like what they would turn into is like they sort of embodied like personality elements of all the things that they would like adapt and turn into. And so it was really cool, you know. I just think the idea of like the Transformers, you know, going like them being like the distant I guess the distant relatives of the Autobots and Decepticons. Like, it's cool that, you know, this does make sense as like the natural progression for these creatures. You know, they kind of become techno-organic so that they can, you know, eat stuff as well instead of just, you know, being provided off of energon, so they become a little more fuel efficient, and they're all smaller as well. Like, mostly it was the Minicons that, like, you know, did the upgrade, and it's just a really cool lore bit. And I mean, Beast Wars is just stacked with like expanding on the Transformers lore. And I mean, I'm just like, I really wish they would explore that version of the universe again, like the G1 universe that incorporated Beast Wars, and just, it was really, really cool, you know. And I also think like the animation style is just so cool, so good, and like interesting and different, and I feel like we haven't ever seen anything like that since, you know. I kind of got into the original Transformers through the Unicron trilogy. Fuck, I can't talk today. And yeah, I mean, it was really cool. It was more Cybertron is where I kind of really started collecting the toys and stuff. So that's when I was first introduced to like Autobots and Decepticons. But for me, Maximals and the Predacons are my original Transformers. So there's a special place in my heart for these guys. But yeah, super, super cool. I'm having a lot of fun just posing it here on camera. Hope you guys are enjoying this part. Yeah, we're going to pop open Inferno, and then we're going to do some comparisons on the robot mode, and we'll swap over to the into robot mode, or into beast mode, and we'll get crazy. Okay, we got Inferno here. Sort of a newer release. I think he was kind of the last to complete the original cast from season 1. So really good figure. I'm excited to get him open next here. Part of the Legacy line, which so many cool figures are coming out of this line. I just love the idea that they're just picking from all different parts of Transformer history, and we're getting like newer versions, like kind of all mixed to be made like in universe with each other. So like if we're dealing with some kind of multiverse event, we can have them all displayed in the same, you know, scene, shot, shelf, because they're all. I just like the connectivity of them all, and you know, all the you can just interswap weapons and all kinds of cool stuff. But I didn't really admire the box too much of Cheetor, just because it was pretty simplistic. But here we got some awesome artwork on the side of Inferno. They always kill it with the friggin' art on the side here. I always love these concept images you get, kind of tease other characters we're going to be getting in the line. So cool. And then we got just product image on the back. No little description, nothing like that. I think that was more of a Marvel Legends thing, but even they kind of stopped doing that. But yeah, super cool. We're just going to pop them open. And yeah, got my old trusty knife here. We're going to go into here. I guess what's cool about having like this newer figure paired with the older one is we're getting two different kinds of boxes that, you know, we don't really get those same ones with like the clamshell on the top of it. We get these open areas where people play around with the head and break it off in the store or whatnot. So, whoa, look at this box. I mean, this box definitely seen better days. Like, it was stored up and I had it all crumpled in some parts. But I mean, despite that, the figure looks like he's not damaged in any way, so that's pretty good. Got the instructions here. Put it here with Cheetor's instructions for me later. Cheetor. And then we'll put the knife down so that I don't get myself cut. Wow, there's the bee butt, I guess. Bee butt, ant butt. God damn it, I'm already screwing this up. Okay, well, this box is falling apart, so we're gonna just stick that aside. And then here he is, floating in suspension stasis here, ready to be unlocked. You know what? That was another cool thing about the show. Like, if you guys remember the original Beast Wars show, whenever they introduce a new character, the way they did it, their mechanism for doing it was that there was all these stasis pods that they put into orbit when they were crashing into the planet to help, like, basically protect them. And then every now and again, you'd get one that would fall to the planet, and then you get like a race between the Maximals and the Predacons to go and try and retrieve a new member, basically, to, you know, add to their armies. And of course, it was so crucial. And oh man, it was such a cool concept. Like, just I love that show where it's just like a survival show, very primal, like two lost crash ships trying to like defeat each other. It was just like one of the best concepts for staging a conflict, or, you know, a toy line, or even a cartoon show. But I'm gonna cut back here. We're gonna cut him out, and then we'll take a closer look at him. Okay, I think I cut all the strands I needed to cut here, so we're just gonna pry him out. The painful part isn't so painful anymore. It's a lot more peaceful. Oh, I didn't cut these, but I think they'll slip right out. Yeah, that's perfect. Slide that back there. We'll leave the weapon on first. So this guy is beastly. Wow. Okay, so a little different here. I've been used to the only big one I've really had. I mean, this guy kind of falls in scale more with I guess Dinobot. Megatron's still the largest of the set. Ah, look at the mouth. That is amazing. Oh man, that's gonna be so much fun to animate. Yeah, that's so good. Oh man. And then here's his twisty butt that he has. I guess yeah, see that rotates. Just like in the TV series. That's how he flies around. It's so hilarious. A little rocket thing on his butt. Man, that was great. Okay. So we're going to zoom out a bit here, give us some more playroom. Okay, the feelers are articulated. That's neat. I really dig how this, they use sort of this really clear, shiny blue plastic for the eyes. Like, it really gives a lot of life to it. And it's got the light piping too. And I think his head, yeah, his head also has the light piping, which is nice. I wonder if I can get an angle here from the light. Maybe. But that looks so cool. I love this shiny chrome. You know me, I'm a sucker for the chrome on these figurines. There's parts here that I'm like, deceptively look like articulation. Like this toe bit here looks like it's supposed to articulate, but it's not. Just a little bit of a fake out there. And then we have this here, which this looks like it should also pop up, but I think it's one of those things that is to make it look more show accurate, but it really, you know, maybe the older toy had this here as as one of the arms that could pop out. But that's what it kind of looks like. I would be interested to do a comparison picture, so I'll probably throw it up. You guys see what you think. And then we got the nice Decepticon, or we got the nice Predacon logo right here. Nice, looks so cool. And yeah, I mean, he's got this big butt thing, which I guess you can just rest it normally like that when he's just kind of hanging out with everyone. But then when he wants to fly off, ah! Man, it looks so amazing. And this gun, very sick. I guess this was just, I think this was a flamethrower kind of gun from the show, if I'm trying to recall that correctly. It's been a minute since I watched it. I'll probably do for a rewatch of that soon. But man, this looks yeah, it looks pretty cool. I mean, very show accurate. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that must be spot on here. I like his little tiny bug insect hands, you know, with the 2 fingers. I think that looks kind of funny. You know, there's a lot of fun playability with this character for sure. I think he became probably more of a fan favorite near the end of the series. And there's a little size comparison for our 2 unboxed figures here. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of the bigger ones, for sure. I think a lot of the Maximals are pretty much shorter than most of the Predacons, which is kind of typical. Same was the case with Decepticons, where you had a lot more of these bigger characters, or you know, Voyager class toys, paired with the. But then I think the Autobots tended to have the numbers as well. But I think it was just to bring it to like they're the underdog, and you know, you want to root for the underdog, sort of like Empire and the Rebels in Star Wars. So yeah, I mean, this is still really cool, and you know, I feel like Cheetor would for sure not back down. That was one thing, is like, you know, he was definitely brave. I mean, that was one thing. Like he was. Compared to a lot of the protagonists that we get nowadays, like who tend to be more timid and like nervous, and you have to like push them to adventure. Like Cheetor was like the exact opposite, like just rush into action, like a little headstrong, super uber confident, but like still would make mistakes because he wouldn't you know, he would rush in and like you know, or take on bigger things than he knew he could handle. But like, it's just the kind of bot that you know, is you still kind of want on your team. You know, you want to have those Mavericks who aren't afraid of anything, and like that was Cheetor, you know. And it just was a really great character to look up to, especially because he does go through such a development throughout the whole series. From the start, you know, he is that, and then as he gets along, he becomes more responsible, and he like challenges Optimus, and especially when you get into Beast Wars, like he basically takes over the leadership of the Maximals, and he kind of earns it too. And it's just a really cool story for him, and he's one of the most well developed of these like kid appeal characters. I guess you could put Rodimus next to that, and then Hotshot. And we got Bumblebee, of course. But yeah, no, very, very cool. And I like this. And I mean, with Inferno, I think he just ends up at the end of the series just getting his head bonked on by a couple of Neanderthal or proto-humans. So it's just kind of a funny end for him. But no, I always loved him. I think him and Waspinator make a pretty good duo as just a couple of fools. And it was neat for them, like they just never really changed throughout the series. Like I think some characters get toys that turn into the transmetal ones, but they didn't introduce that into the show. There was only some characters that did. And I think yeah, Inferno was one of those characters that didn't get a transmetal form, but he had a toy, I think, that was Cheetor obviously did, and I'm hoping that we're gonna get eventually some transmetal versions. I mean, we've already got Transmetal 2 Megatron and Transmetal 2 or Optimal Optimus Primal, whatever. So we've gotten some season 3 versions of them, but I'd love to see, a Cheetor Transmetal, a Rat Trap Transmetal with the wheels, and the gorilla on the surfboard with the blue face there for Optimus, and oh man, Megatron too with like the jet rockets. Like I would love for them to, eventually start putting those out, and I think it's definitely something they'll do, especially because they've revitalized Beast Wars, since doing Kingdom and all that, and reintroducing these characters to everyone. But let's do some more comparisons. Wow, this looks so iconic having these two together. Man, this is blowing my mind. Man, yeah, this Optimus Primal, obviously I did a little unboxing for that as well. If you guys want to see that one in action. They nailed the coloring, the sculpt, just everything, the transformation, the friggin' blades. He even has the pop-up wrist-mounted guns. Such a cool figure. And when you pair him here with Cheetor, the scaling is spot on. I think this is like exactly where you want them to stand with each other. And he's just kind of the missing link, one of the missing links for me. We can also pop in here Rat Trap as well. See how he stacks up. Put him kind of here in the middle. Yeah, that looks awesome. Wow. It's funny how this is pretty accurate scaling. I think Rat Trap definitely was about this small, maybe a little taller. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'd have to, like I said, it's been a little while since I've rewatched. But I think this scaling is really perfect anyways. Like, I just dig. Rat Trap has the biggest chip on his shoulder, and this core class scaling that they created is just such a genius idea, because for one, they can do in line all these small characters, Autobots and all that. But they can also throw in a couple random small characters like Rat Trap. I know they had another Beast Wars 2 character from the comics that they had put into this core class. So it's really neat, the scaling, and you can tell that they got some brains over there. They got some brains behind this department. And it's like rare to see that happen in these companies these days. Usually it's just like people don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they are doing. Okay, but I'm very, very excited about this. There's one last one I'm gonna pop. We got two more here. Two more Maximals to compare. We're gonna put an Air Razor here. Oh, that looks so cool. She and Cheetor kind of fall into the same scale. That's just kind of cool. We have figures at this kind of height. We're gonna actually pop her to the side because there's one more we're gonna throw down here. One more comparison that needs to be made, and it is Dinobot. So cool, man. Yeah, they just they nailed the coloring on him as well. Dinobot's definitely one of my favorites of the show. I think it's got to be between Cheetor and Dinobot for me for favorite Beast Wars characters. They're just the coolest, legendary, but Dinobot has one of the best stories in all of the Transformers series, I think, in my opinion. But I feel like that's hard to dispute because his episode where he, spoilers for a cartoon from the 90s, when he does eventually get, he goes out with a warrior's death, and it's badass. He fits in nicely here. I would expect him to basically come up to similar scaling as Inferno, which we're going to do a little pop-up of that, but this is our last, the Maximal Squadron here from the original Beast Wars. The only one we're missing here, obviously, is Rhinox. Rhinox is also on ice. We're going to do an unboxing of him next here, or possibly we've already done it. I don't know yet. But we're going to get him out, and then we'll have a full Maximal battalion here from Season 1, and I'm going to be fucking losing my mind. Alright, and here these two are. They basically come to about the same height. Dinobot might pop up just a little taller with his spikes, but then obviously the arms might send him... Well, even with his weapons drawn, they're basically the same height. So it's nice to have, especially with Transformers, having a few characters that kind of fall in scale with each other. Wow, it's nice how his back piece and his butt piece gotta just fit in like that. Back-to-back episodes of Dinobot and Inferno. Yeah! But, no, this is cool. I'm glad that they do pop nicely together. And just, they, obviously, they are adversaries, they're never really a part of the same team. Dinobot leaves the Predacons within the first episodes. Very cool. And I mean, that's the thing, is that's such an original idea. It was something that we hadn't really seen too much. I mean, maybe you had Jetfire in the original series is kind of like the one that would cross over, but I mean, to have the series start out with like a character immediately switching sides and then his code of honor, and it just was really cool because it gave you kind of another side to sort of the opposite team. That there are some characters that do have a moral code and are willing to stand by it, but are still brutal, in a lot of the ways that Predacons were or are. So it's just, Dinobot is just one of the most fleshed out characters of the whole series. It's just fantastic. Can't speak enough about him. I mean, I know that we're boxing Inferno here, but I literally I've already said everything I needed to say about Inferno, to be honest. It's not much to say. I mean, he's a fun character for sure, but it's his whole pathos about thinking that he's part of a colony and he actually thinks he's an ant, all that kind of thing. It's funny how that stuff works out with some of these characters. Tigertron's kind of a more serious version of that. He's like a more tiger than Maximal, still figuring myself out, and that's when he kind of goes off for the first season, and he's sort of a character out there in the wild that can help out when needed. So it was cool, his relationship, but he eventually gets closer and closer with them again. I have to tell. Well, we can get more into his story like when we do his unboxing, but let's pop out some more comparison figures here. Sweet. Here's some more bug and arachnoid comparisons here from the Predacon side of things. So yeah, I mean, I love how he fits in with these characters. It gives us another taller, beefier character, which I kind of needed. I only had these two unboxed at the moment. To be honest, I have the full character list from season 1 in my possession right now. I just haven't unboxed all of them yet. So we're going to make it through it here in this little series. I'm going to try and get all these out consecutively. But I'm really digging these figures. You probably might be asking yourself, hey, that Waspinator looks a little funky there. So that's not the actual newest Waspinator that came out in Kingdom series. He actually came out back in an older Generations line. He's kind of an old figure now, but he actually still is fairly good sculpt wise, and I like his coloration, his light piping, that whatnot. Only thing he's missing is the ankle rocking. That is the one thing that does suck about him, but I kind of make do with these extra limbs that he has, is helping him pose and stand a little better. But I just, at this point, I'm still pretty satisfied with him. I might still upgrade him at some point, but I was kind of just saving that as for last, if I ever see him on discount somewhere, because this one's pretty decent. If you've ever had this one, it wasn't bad. And they actually had the Rhinox as well, but I ended up trading that one out, and because I ended up busting it. I had a friend that still, he's like, oh, I'll take it, and so I ended up giving it to him. But I got a new Rhinox, and so we'll get that one open eventually. But right here, this looks fantastic. He pairs well with them. I mean, the coloring is kind of nice too. I like that we have yellow, red, green, very distinct different colors for these characters, and something that they all kind of tend to, tends to help them all kind of stand out in that way, which is great. But we'll get all these Predacons unboxed eventually. I got some other ones on ice we're going to get to, and it's going to be pretty sweet. But we got one more comparison here, so let's go pull out the big guns. Dun dun dun, dun dun dun, dun 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 dun. I don't know what I was singing there, but there he is. Now we got all our Predacons together. This looks freaking awesome. I'm very stoked with how these kind of pair together really nicely. And like I said, he does kind of bridge the size gap to Megatron between these two, so this is really great for me, just aesthetically on the shelf. I tried to, if you guys have seen my Transformers shelf, like the amount of characters that I've got, I've tried to get a good sizing kind of variation. Because if you get one super giant character and then a bunch of little characters, it's nice to have some ones that kind of build up to it. And they actually did a good job with splitting up the sizes and stuff on these characters. Megatron still being the biggest, most like challenging one, which is very cool. But yeah, I'm so stoked to have these guys. This looks great. Let me know what you guys think in the comments there. What you think of these robot modes. We're gonna switch them up here into beast mode and do some little beast comparisons next, and that'll be the last thing we do. The last thing. Yes. Yes.
All right, gang. So we're actually switching to a different set of audio here. If you probably noticed, I actually lost the audio for this section of the video, so it's all good. I don't know. It is what it is, but we're gonna take a look at these beast modes here, and I'm gonna just try and remember what I was saying. I think with Cheetor here, I mean, once again, he's probably still my favorite of the set. I just like how slender he is. Once again, they just nailed it. It looks so much more like the TV show. A lot of these characters are all pretty accurate. I feel like maybe Rat Trap's the one that kind of got the short end of the stick. It's probably the least sort of accurate looking one, but it does look very mouse-like. I mean, and it is sort of the right size for just like how massive of a rat he was. But no, I think like scale wise, I mean, outside of that, they're all pretty perfect. Even Air Razor, yeah, I think they just did a fantastic job. And here are the Predacon beast modes, at least the ones that I have here. I think we were missing Rhinox in that last shot, but now here we got a couple of bugs and one arachnid, of course, and then Megatron back there just menacing over them. Just looks so cool. I just think they all are very complimentary. You know, this Waspinator too. I actually had for a long time. Uh, was never able to get that sort of butt section of it down there, like on one side, and was able to finally get that articulation working, so it actually transforms properly. It's a little bit tight, and you always get worried about snapping these things. But yeah, I mean, as far as this Inferno goes, I mean, he's a big, giant red ant, big old bulbous. I don't know what you call that, the thorax behind there. And I mean, he just pairs well. You know, he makes for a nice addition to these guys. So I'm just once again really excited and really pleased with how well these all look together. All right, so I thought I'd do just one final little battle shot here, kind of echoing the first episode. It might have been the second episode of Beast Wars when they all kind of face off on the top of that mountain with all the unstable energon around. Such a cool battle. They're all in beast mode. But yeah, I mean, it's been an awesome video. I'm glad you guys came by to check this out. And let me know which is your favorite Beast Wars character, be it Maximal or Predacon. And lots more in store. I got another unboxing coming up soon here with Rhinox and Scorponok. It's going to be a cool one, so stay tuned. And yeah, and like the video if you like the video, share this with your friends, and subscribe if you love this.